So, how are you? You must be getting real worried, yeah.
It inspires me how you're able to keep going. It's just amazing
Well,
to
that's
me.
because I'm a young man. If you were young like I was, you'd be able to keep going. I am saying this is going to happen. May 21, Judgment Day will begin. But thank you for calling and sharing. And shall we take our next call, please? Welcome to Open Forum.
Good evening, Mr. Camping. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, Ezekiel 33:3, and you've been on the news. And it seems like every news segment that I watch, at the very end of it, they always come back to your book, 1994, ?
Well, what happened was that in 1992, I had begun to work seriously on the timing of the end, and I already saw that 2011 might be. But on the other hand, I also saw it could be 1994 sometime.
My question is, do you think that possibly the Lord had you write that book as a possible snare to the unsaved or the unelect, that they won't believe in 2011 based on 1994?
It's possible. I don't know. I don't know why God had me do that. Ezekiel 33 tells us we have to warn the world, so I hastily wrote the book 1994, but I put a big question mark after it. I'm not embarrassed by it at all, but it is true that it serves as a very neat alibi for those who don't want to face the idea that Judgment Day is so very close. But nevertheless, I wrote it, and I know I was pretty concerned, because when it didn't happen in 1 month, then I still thought maybe it could happen in the next month. But I don't want to speculate about that. It doesn't go anywhere. I'm just glad that God finally has given us the whole truth, and with all kinds of proofs and signs. The only sign that God had really given at that time, was that Israel had become a nation again, and that was a very important sign. But all the other signs, the gay pride sign, or that the Antichrist is known. If you are still preaching in a church, you are a servant of Satan. So that without a question, we know that it's going to happen in another few days.
It is going to happen. God bless you, Mr. Camping. Enjoy your night.
Thank you for calling and sharing. And shall we take our next call, please? Welcome to Open Forum.
Hello, Mr. Camping. I was watching television the other day. It was a Christian television show, and basically it was about you setting dates, etc., and how wrong that is. And I have to tell you, it had the opposite effect on me. Instead of turning me away from your teaching, it really did make me more sure than ever that, unfortunately, this is going to happen.
The Bible is very analytical. It is very exact.
It's kind of gone over my head, but I've just accepted that, you know more about it than I do.
And what did you find in the scripture that maybe you had not seen prior that turned your attention to 2011 rather than 94?
Oh, well, that came after 14 more years of very intense study. For example, at that time, I had never studied Jeremiah. So there was a lot of research that I still had to do. That's exactly the problem with a lot of theologians. They set up a condition, maybe it could be this, and then they build on that as if it is a fact. But 3 years ago, when the proofs began to show up, then I knew I could not say any longer, it is a high likelihood. I had to say, it is absolutely going to happen. Now, what is your question? When you're studying the Bible, you're studying absolute solid fact. And you never have to ask the question, does this person know what he's talking about? Yeah, well, 4 days. We look at this beautiful sunshine of today. We look at everything, it looks so solid. You mean this is all going to be gone in 4 more days? How can it be? It's so impossible. And yet we know it is going to happen because God declares it. So we just wait.
Thank you.
Okay?
Harold.
Yeah, thank you.
See you tomorrow.